Well, good evening, everyone. This is Dr. Ellithorpe at Tustin Longevity Center, and we are here doing this once a week, every Tuesday at 6 o'clock at night. And we are having a little bit of technical problems, it looks like. Not sure why we're having technical problems, but it looks like we are. Interesting. So, I don't see anyone on. That means either we didn't do this right, or so there we go. It looks like someone's showing up. So if you can see, I'm having some technical problems. If you can hear us, can you type in the chat that you can hear me and everything's going okay? Because I'm having a little bit of technical issues today. And we meet usually once every week, Tuesdays at 6 o'clock here. And you can hear it all right. All right, very good. All right, thank you so much. So we meet every Tuesday around 6 o'clock. This is for general information. This is not meant to be personalized health care. Rather, this is to present issues, questions about natural health, functional medicine, and how we, with many decades of experience, would look at this and our knowledge of the field and how we would approach it. So, once again, if this is of value and a help to you, please like and subscribe, share, and send this to friends and family. We are trying to help all of ourselves, including us healthcare providers, to be personally responsible for our choices, what we eat, our lifestyle, our hydration, our sleep hygiene, and our morning routines, all these things. Okay. So we have two ways that you can get a hold of us. One is through these email questions. We do this on emails through the office here at tlcdoctors.com, tlcdoctors.com. And you can get on the newsletter, and then we send you an email notifying you of this. And then you can join us, and we can take your questions on the chat, which is another way you can get a hold of us. Just like Carolyn let me know she could hear everything well, because it looked like we were having a little bit of problems. So you can get a hold of us on the chat here on YouTube or email. And then we'll try and get those questions listed and answered for you. I hope everyone had a wonderful Merry Christmas with your family. And I hope we're all trying to be responsible about not eating junk food over and over and over again as a kind of blurring of all the days, as if every day is a day of eating celebration. We also have New Year's coming up this Thursday, or New Year's Eve. And so we'll have more treats on that day. So try and be responsible and limit your starch, sugar, carb, and alcohol to a modest amount. Enjoy the people you're with and the reason you're giving celebration and thanks for. All right, so we'll start with some of the questions. Let's see, the first question I have here is from Joanna. This is an older question. I missed two sessions because I got laryngitis. So this is an old one that never got picked up in the list. But anyway, we can use it as a teaching point. She said she was given amoxicillin 500 milligrams 3 times a day for 10 days for a root canal. I guess she had some oral surgery. And that was going to be done on the 10th of December. And she was also taking the probiotic 225 that I recommended. Is it necessary to take the antibiotic for the full 10 days? I am avoiding sugar and do not eat processed food. Will fasting the day before and the day of help? The answer to all of that is yes. Fasting is one of your best ways to stimulate your own immune system and rev it up for protecting you. Whenever I get sick or have surgery, I try and fast the day before, a full 24 hours, and at least 24 to 48 hours afterwards. And that then focuses the entire, about 80% of your immune system lines your gut. And if you're not eating, then all that immune system help is supported and directed toward areas in your body that need focus and information. The next thing is she asked, is it necessary to take the antibiotic for the full 10 days? I'm not your dentist, and I didn't do the surgery. I don't know if there was any risk of chipping the bones or what all was involved. So I would say follow what your dentist is saying and use the probiotic 2 weeks afterwards from the procedure. So you've got that. And then after you finish, because there's a 2-week supply, I think there's 15 in the box, one a day for 15 days. And since the procedure was on the 10th and you sent this on the 9th, and you had plenty for 2 weeks afterwards, but then get on a more standard probiotic like capsule form, probiotic 100 maybe, and take one a day thereafter. That antibiotic will impact you for months and months. Some argue up to even for 2 years. It can hurt your gut lining microbiome. And so we very reluctantly will give antibiotics to our patients here and hoping that they're fasting. Immune vitamin C drips, things like that, vitamin D level, Argentine silver nasal sprays or liquids. These things, which Argentine silver, swish and swallow is also a very good thing after oral surgery as well. So I trust that that went well, and hopefully with your fasting and your probiotics and your healthy lifestyle, you did very well, Joanna. The next question is from Megan. And she says, what are some common reasons you would recommend niacin supplementation? Niacin, vitamin B3, is the precursor for nicotinic adenosine dinucleotide, NAD, which is in the electron chain transport in the mitochondria for energy production. I suppose that's the biggest reason. It also is helpful, therefore, in every part of the human body, because energy production support in any organized system of your body would justify saying it helps. So whether it's your energy, your cardiovascular, your immune system, your cognitive function, your skin health, your kidney function, your muscles, all of this requires it. So that's why I would use it. All right. Stacy says, I have had a sour acid taste coming into my mouth for 2 years. Proton pump inhibitors do not work. And I'm taking Pepcid now, which helps some, but not 100%. The best results I have found is taking a 1-strain probiotic, which also contains lactobacillus and bifidobacteria. Taking this helps neutralize the taste, but does not stop the acid flow into my mouth. How do I stop that? Stacy. This was also from the 9th. Stacy, hopefully you're listening. The number one thing, I don't know what your age is, but I would definitely stop eating around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I would find out your blood type. If you're blood type A, you need to take digestive enzyme when you eat to help digest and move along the fats and the proteins, because normally we digest, no matter what our blood type, the carbohydrates easily. Number 3, I would recommend taking a walk after meals, especially dinner, for 15, 20 minutes, something like that. The next thing I would say is elevate the head of your bed. And if this is 180 degrees, I would go up 15 to 20 degrees. There's literal research on the value of anti-aging by extending or rather raising the head of your bed somewhere between 15 and 20 degrees. And this will stop reflux, that is silent reflux. This promotes better digestion and forward motion of the stomach contents to go into the duodenum and into the rest of the digestive pathway. Another thing you could do is take a powdered mixture of glutashield. It's got like zinc and uh, glutamine and these things that help heal the lining of the gut, as well as mixing it. You could also with phospholipid powder in a little warm water, like you're making a bottle of warm milk for a baby, maybe 3 or 4 ounces, a scoop of each of those two powders, and then take a shot down at night um, before you go to bed. That helps promote the lining of healing of the one cell membrane thick layer of your gastrointestinal system. So those would be the essential things that I would do. Find out your blood type. Don't eat after 3. If you're a blood type A or you're over 60, probably use digestive enzymes when you eat. Elevate the head of your bed. Take a walk after dinners, 15 minutes briskly. Let's see. We have lost. Wow, that's interesting. The video went blank on me for a second. We are having interesting computer behavior today. Okay. The next one is from Amela. Um, she says, "Hi, Dr. Rita. My children are ages 20, 19, and 17, and they all tested positive for methotetrahydrofolate mutation, A and C variants. Since both my husband and I have it, does everyone need B vitamins or just if the genes are expressed?" The answer is there's SNPs, or so to say, areas of the gene coding that are incomplete. There's 4 areas, what we call 4 alleles, ApoE alleles. And if you have all 4, then that's definitely you have to. If they only have 2 of the variants, I would just use supplementation with methyl B complex, and I would take 1 a day, and I would do it all my life. And I would say I'm hearing more and more about this. Maybe 40% of all Americans are like you, and we all need these B vitamins. Remember, they're water soluble. They're used up more and more with age because they're used up with stress. And as you age, your life is more stressful. Metabolism is more stressful. But even children growing up or some stressful moments are an issue as well. So I would indeed say, please have your children take methyl B complex 1 a day. If it's more stressful, you could use more. Let's see, we're getting some live questions, and one of these is from Harlow. She says, "Blessings, Dr. Rita." Blessings back to you, Harlow. How would you treat calcifications in the tonsils? Are you talking about what they call those stones where you get bacteria in some of the little crypts that are on your tonsils? Usually this is very benign. This is not an issue. Very often your body will reject them on their time. Okay, so this is on the stones. Okay, so Harlow said yes. So I would just use Argentine silver to swish and swallow before bedtime. And I would eat a low carb diet and just do your normal teeth brushing hygiene. I like my toothpaste to have xylitol in it and hydroxyapatite for mineral building. I like to make sure I sleep with my mouth shut because your saliva is supposed to protect your teeth and your enamel. It carries the matrices for helping to remineralize it. So sleeping with your mouth shut is a very important thing. I keep my structured water near my bed. I have a bottle exactly like this with my analemma wand in it and a straw. So if I should wake up, I usually take a sip of that just to keep the moisture in my saliva because the older we get, I'm 72, the drier we get. And I would not worry about calcifications in the tonsils at all. It's just a phenomena. Maybe you had, you didn't get x-rays or an MRI of your neck, I would presume. This is just what you can see when you open your mouth. Don't worry about them. They'll come out on their own. Your body is designed to expel them. Don't go poking at them because you're irritating the body and seeding bacteria at that time. If it's significant, then you can see an ear, nose, and throat doctor or your general doctor. Hopefully that helps a little bit, Harlow. Carol asked the question, I have mild stenosis in my right and left carotid arteries, 16 to upwards of 49%. I already eat as you recommend and exercise. What else can I do? Is it worrisome? Absolutely not. Do not worry about that. I have been doing this for 45 years, watching ultrasounds of the carotids for 4.5 decades of my life. I've been at work every week. I don't take vacations. All the time I've practiced, I have only heard that unless there's over an 80% stenosis, some argue 75, that there's no significant clinical impact to the human body. So if we live healthy like this, in the sense that we're trying to drink our water, preferably structured water by Gerald Pollack, you can see on YouTube, and that's spelled Pollack. If we eat a low carb diet, which depresses the sugar and sugar, if you eat low carb, it'll be down, and then your immune system can be healthy. This helps keep inflammation in your body down. If we take systemic enzymes, this keeps inflammation down. If we don't eat late at night and stop in the mid to later afternoon and not eat past, say, 4 or 5 o'clock, we're going to have more growth hormone repair and reduced inflammation. All these things make a difference about the lining, the endothelial, or the single cell membranes that line our vascular system. And they're all very important. And I would not worry at all about that level of, what do you call it, plaque they're talking about in the carotid arteries, which are right here. All right, some more of these email questions. Kim says, is it important to only consume pasture-raised, nitrate-free bacon and cook it at low temperatures? I've been buying bacon from Costco and cooking it in the air fryer, but now I'm concerned that the high temperature is creating nitrosamines, which are carcinogenic. I don't agree that they are carcinogenic. There is challenging research stating that this is a manufactured data with poor science that is bought with a outcome to attack the carnivore type lifestyle. And nitrosamines are what you call correlation, not causation. So they are not carcinogenic. In fact, there are important parts to this of our physiology and nitric oxide production. So I think the entire argument is arguable that this was a generated false science, like so much of this other science was out there about cholesterol, which they have silently turned over 180 degrees, but they don't talk about it. They're so hypocritical. It's been 10 years now since this has been definitively proven not to be cholesterol, and they hide the research. So there are hundreds and thousands of articles that tried to convince you that high cholesterol, saturated fats are the cause of heart disease. And now they have to reverse all that, but they're not going to say it. The same goes for this theory that nitrates that are a preservative are with heating turned into carcinogenic material, and that's been debunked. Joanne goes and says, for next week's live stream, okay, so that's passed because I had to cancel it because of my laryngitis for two consecutive things, which is quite unusual for me. But could you please let me know if there's any new treatments for desmoid tumors? Desmoid tumors. Okay, I am currently taking ivermectin, just added to the Fenbend protocol, fenbendazole, and other supplements, and I'm doing hydrogen water. Any guidance or new information would be appreciated. Joanne, desmoid tumors are like germline tumors in the sense that they're not necessarily cancerous. Sometimes you'll grow like an ovarian cyst, and in it they'll see teeth growing or other fibrous materials. So these are not necessarily cancerous. If you know that it's a desmoid tumor, you need to find out with your doctor or oncologist or surgeon what the pathology said. Is it malignant or was it not non-malignant? Most of these tend to be, in my experience clinically, not malignant. Um, Taking systemic enzymes on an empty stomach helps to disinflame the body. We feel that an inflamed acidic environment, low oxygen, which is promoted by the corrupt standard American diet full of fructose and sugar and starches, glucose, have just suppressed our immune system so much, clogged little tiny capillaries, creating hypoxia locally. And that hypoxic environment can stimulate stem cells that misbehave and start to regrow as if they're a newborn zygote embryo trying to grow again in your body. So staying well hydrated, staying very low carb, not eating late, exercise for perfusion with resistance training 3 times a week for 40 minutes, and doing a brisk walk 20 minutes, getting the sunshine in the morning, standing a minute or two in the wet grass, getting electrons from the earth and grounding, um, and eating a simplistic menu rich in protein, low in carbs, and then using vitamin D with systemic enzymes. I would use quercetin. We get that with our seasonal shield here. It's also called DHIST from Orthomolecular, 600 milligrams a day. This discussion about fenbendazole and ivermectin, there's a growing body of knowledge and chatter in the layman's, and as well as some physicians and scientists are starting to seriously look at the anti-tumor effects of growth promotion from tumors that are inhibited with ivermectin. I think there's up to 9 documented cell physiologic pathways to inhibit cell growth. So that also is noteworthy. With the fenbendazole, there are similar inhibitory pathways that suppress, tumor growth, abnormal fermentative sugar metabolism, glutamine metabolism. So yes, there is research there. This is not standard of care. This is not something that we as physicians prescribe for tumor growths. This is something that is available over the counter that many patients are starting to use and generate a huge body of referable data that is sponsoring and the motive for doing some research now in scientific communities. But I don't prescribe this, and I'm not an oncologist. I do know it's available over the internet, and my patients who do use fenbendazole or ivermectin, they tell me, and I do warn them that there are some side effects. Their liver enzymes, their blood count needs to be monitored after the initiation of that usage. I am pleased that I do have some scientific articles about this physiology. A good site to go to that's noteworthy and reputable is on YouTube, called Dr. Casey, Casey, last name Peavler, Peavler, MD. He's an internist who is now settled down in Florida. He has a YouTube called Dr. Casey Peavler. And he talks about, in the search, if you put in fenbendazole or ivermectin, you'll see many, many articles, many biological, biochemical pathways where it documents how it inhibits rapid irregular cell growth, inhibits the um, glucose uptake and the glutamine uptake, and is very promising for a off-label use for other purposes, i.e., possibly in oncology. So I am I am saying that putting the whole thing together, low carb, not eating late, exercising regularly, drinking adequate hydration, and using goodly amounts of systemic enzymes, vitamin D, quercetin, uh, berberine. I created the berberine in this place maybe almost 25 years ago, called TLC Metabolic Formula, to provide uh, enough berberine that it would qualify as a inhibitor of some of the very same pathways metabolically that fenbendazole and ivermectin do. So many of my patients who are fighting cancer or wanting to prevent it, because I take it for prevention, are on TLC metabolic formula for the berberine and other components in it. They're on the seasonal shield for the quercetin, 200 milligram per capsule. So 3 capsules is what the research shows having inhibitory effects, 600 milligrams a day. Vitamin D, trying to get up somewhere between the 60 and the 80 micrograms per deciliter, or international units per deciliter, for inhibitory aspects of tumor growth, uh, and using the low carb diet, using the exercise value. They're finding great research now that actual weight training, resistance training, generates certain end products as the muscles contract and relax, that those end products or fragments of muscle usage act inhibitorily as well. They're called myosins. So there are many things that I would consider doing. And follow up with your doctor, clarify the nature of it, because usually desmoid tumors are um, benign. Okay. And then the next question is from Donna. Do you recommend going outside barefoot in the grass for grounding? Yes, all the time. I've seen many ads for grounding blankets that have silver threads woven through them. Any thoughts as to if they would be beneficial? Yes, it's probably beneficial through these home devices that are blankets or pads and so forth. I have one right under my desk right now. The only problem with houses is when you plug it into the grounding hole on your three-prong circuit, you just put it into the big single hole, and then you have the two that are the prongs, but the other is a ground. The ground is the hole that you use. There's what we call extraneous um, electrical traffic. And with that traffic, you're getting this extra electricity, you might say. The best ground is to be outside on the wet grass or on the sand, right? That's wet at the ocean or by the pond or the creek or the river. Gardening, having your hands in the soil, even holding the leaves that have their roots all the way down into the ground. That's the best thing to do. Now, what is the name of the product that I had seen with high regards? What is the name? Ground Lux, Lux. Anyway, the gentleman who does this, if I'm right, I don't have another computer to be able to look up the site. Ground Lux is a gentleman who produces this and does his own commercials and shows you the science and articles about his blanket manufacturings and mats, and addresses these articles about the electrical noise in a house for grounding. So yeah, I'm in very much favor of it, and I would certainly recommend doing that. The next question is Harlow. She said, "We missed you, and I'm happy to see you're back. Happy New Year. I pray God continues to take good care of you for many years to come." Thank you, Harlow. Yeah, I just had lost my voice, and I thought, I was pushing it by seeing patients every day, even though I only had a whisper for a voice. But Dr. Lamb, my physician assistant, helped me here, and I was able to come. I felt fine, no fever or anything. I had just irritated. For all I know, it might have been some silent acid reflux that irritated my larynx because it came up in the morning of the 9th. So what can I say? Um, and it took about 2 weeks, just like a bruise or a scratch, to heal. So I'm suspicious that it might have been some acid reflux. I know I have the senile rhinorrhea. The older you get, you just get this clear liquid drip in the back, and I'm always clearing my throat. And since I'm talking all the time, I often inhale a drip, and then I have to cough and clear up that phlegm. And it's not because I have a cold or anything, it's just allergies. So thank you for the prayer. I appreciate all your prayers. In fact, I covet uh, my dear Christian family to pray for me and for the clinic, that we honor and do good work and help inspire our patients by our example and by our continued effort to stay on top of research and help our patients as much as possible. All right, so we have some more questions here from the email on page 2. Let's see. This is from you, Harlow, and it said, this is from the 9th. Dr. Rita, what is vestibular neuritis? Why does it come suddenly? Can this be from the jab? Well, yes, it can be. And what is the best way to treat it? Blessings. So vestibular neuritis, the eighth nerve, I think, is the vestibular nerve. It is a nerve like any other nerve that can, just like shingles can come up on a nerve. Any virus can inflame a nerve area, and we believe the common cold, flu symptoms can generate a irritation of the vestibular nerve, and then you'll get this ringing. The older we get, we tend to get ringing because there is a sheath that runs around all the nerves, and that sheath is made up of fat and protein, phospholipids. And with those phospholipids, it acts as an insulation to assist in the function of the cell, transmitting with speed and accuracy the electrochemical messages that travel down the nerve. Well, you have to repair that nerve, and the way you repair it is by eating fat that is healthy. Saturated fat, our two essential fatty acids are monounsaturated alpha linoleic acid, omega-3, and linoleic acid, omega-6, if it's not been oxidized. And they've oxidized or hydrogenated the fats for all the packaged food you buy. Everything with a barcode that's packaged food has some form of hydrogenation to stop the fats in that food from combining with the atmospheric oxygen and becoming rancid. And so the damage to the body, human essential linoleic omega-6, it's because we have doctors that are not educated enough to get enough chemistry, biochemistry, and understanding their fatty acids from the get-go. They can be taken down the foolishness lane and think that omega-6s are bad. It is oxidized omega-6s that are bad. See, even the doctors are starting to wake up, and we praise the Lord for this. And that is, they're learning that the LDL is not a problem. It's oxidized LDL cholesterol. So we love cholesterol here. And everything we do is teaching our patients how to not have oxidized, burnt LDL or burnt anything. So to heal that nerve for vestibular neuritis and ringing ears or vertigo, things like that, we recommend all the healthy anti-inflammatory lifestyles. Give up dinners, eat a low-carb diet, eat a rich protein, healthy carnivore-like diet, use digestive enzymes. On an empty stomach, use systemic enzymes. Drink your water half your weight in pounds as ounces every day. Do your weight training and your walking for the microcirculation so you can get those enzymes around like God's little soap suds to clean all your nerves, crooks, and crannies, and to improve the microcirculation with adequate hydration. Then you can bring the nutrients for repair. This is how you keep your membranes healthy and functioning. So that is what I would encourage you to do for your optic neuritis. Another great thing, if you can get chelation, the microcirculation is absolutely enhanced if you do EDTA chelation with vitamin C. Vitamin C is a tremendous anti-inflammatory, antiviral uh, treatment that you can do. And, you know, that would be the base step I would share with your doctor and plan for doing that, Harlow. And then let's see, we have another live question. Carolyn says, is it okay for kids to eat at night? They often want a snack after dinner and before bed. If so, what's a good snack? I am not in favor of eating late. I believe we are just too compliant with marketing. And I know the internet has, if I say left, another doctor will say right. If I say up, another doctor will say down. If I say forward, doctor will say backward. I feel for all you ladies and gentlemen out there with the task you have at hand to try and sort out buyer beware, personal responsibility for your healthcare decisions. The only thing I honestly can say is the night is meant for healing. The night is meant for repair. Any food whatsoever that you put in your body roughly past 6 o'clock at night is going to leave a bolus in your stomach so that when 9 o'clock comes around on the planetary spin of the earth and in the day-night cycle, when the electromagnetic energy is shifting, that's when the chemical talk in your body is supposed to say the stomach is empty. There's no more need for work and protection of invasion through the stomach gate. Now we'll put in healing for the rest of the body. And these children who take food at night are having a problem with, usually the food choices are lousy and it is shutting off the healing. And so all these young men who want to be tall and handsome are just losing millimeters, maybe even as much as an inch or two if they eat late at night. So we say, make that big meal breakfast. Make that breakfast so hearty like a dinner, and take the very same food to their lunches to school. And they can finish up that menu, whatever is left over from the big breakfast, when they come home, all the way up to 5 o'clock. And after that, it takes any stomach, young or old. Old is worse, takes a lot longer in an older stomach, but young stomachs are approximately 3 to 4 hours to empty. So I am not in favor of giving them food past 6 o'clock. Let's see. Then Simone on the email says, hi, Dr. E. I have basal cell cancer on my nose. They want to do a Mohs surgery, which may require plastic surgery afterwards. Or I could get 20 rounds of low-dose radiation without a scar. Well, she asks, is radiation dangerous? The answer is yes. What are your thoughts? Thank you. Simone, there's many things that go into that issue. How big is the original size? How healthy are you already? How old are you? What is your metabolic stance, your insulin level, your fasting blood sugar, your triglycerides, your hemoglobin A1C? What is your blood urea nitrogen? Do you have access to getting high-dose vitamin C drips with EDTA chelation to improve the microcirculation and immune situation? Do you get infrared treatments? Do you get any natural sunlight outside? Because it is the burning of the skin that is cancerous. And what is radiation? Radiation is a type of burning. Although it kills cells, there's a secondary risk of it triggering another cell line of abnormality. That's well established with radiation. Nevertheless, it's the standard of care. I'm not there to see how big or what your situation is. You have to go with your dermatologist and oncologist to make a decision about what you want to do. Basals are typically slow growing and not metastatic. I think you would greatly improve your tolerance and your capacity to get a good result. Um, with EDTA chelation high dose vitamin C's once or twice a week, especially before and after. And I would do this for about 3 months because the skin is, so um, taut in this region. The circulation will be massively improved if you take EDTA chelation therapy. I don't know if you can use some natural hormone replacement that supports it. Systemic enzymes help it. Taking vitamin D would be helpful. You need to get all these things checked and see a good functional doctor. But again, I'm not there. I'm not going to say don't do it. There's too many unknowns about that situation, Simone, and we would have to look at you and figure out those parameters. So God bless, and I hope that all works out for you. Mariel says, how about other countries that eat late and are happy and healthy? Yeah, I know in Spain, my sister was a Spanish teacher, and she went to Spain for, I don't know, a year. She was in Madrid, University of Madrid. She was a high school Spanish teacher after that for many decades. I know that is so, and I know that they have less toxins and glyphosates and issues such as that. So I think that a calmer lifestyle is very beneficial. We don't have all the answers. All I do know is that current research shows at 9 o'clock at night, if you put food into the body, that somatostatin, growth repair hormones, and there's a whole bunch of polypeptides that are secreted for growth and repair, they will not come out and they won't do their work. So somewhere between that and the truth, we have to figure it all out on our own. And there is in America just an explosion of gut disease, poor microbiome, bad flora, reflux, esophagitis, heartburn, cardiac workups for fear of missing heart causes. I mean, it's a tremendous big mess. And eating late is just contributing to the work of the stomach that needs to heal. We're upright and active and have our biggest digestive enzymes available to us for the promotion and moving forward and assimilation of our food if we eat breakfasts and lunches up to about 3 o'clock if you're over 60. I would say 5 o'clock if you're younger than 60. So I'll have to stand with that. Okay. Marielle says thank you. But yes, we're living in a confounding world. And you need to have a resource to be able to talk to your doctor. One of the faults I have about the current situation with healthcare is that the personal accountability has been turned into big government. And you'll never get good healthcare through government. Government has never done anything right in regards to society care. The only thing it has done right is to have inhibitory force in the sense of punishing wrongdoers, like it says in Romans chapter 13. Government is a force, a fire that can both cook a healthy meal or can burn the whole house down. When you have healthcare that is decentralized, managed locally, personal accountability, so you can take your doctor to court and personally sue them and have a court of law, peers, or a medical board. I think there's some arbitration or other scenarios, but it's a personal responsibility for incidents. This and word of mouth should be what's going on. But when doctors are in a situation where they're moving all the time, they're moving up on functions on the board of organizations, hospital industries. They have frontmen, healthcare managers that are not doctors who are filtering access to them. It destroys the personal accountability. And this is what our problem is. It should be like a father and mother cares for their children, not a system and government schooling. Everything that it seems that government touches, it has a negative impact on, because personal accountability becomes more and more distant and harder to hold accountable for. So we've got to get our doctors back in love and personally with God and their people, and be in one place. There is no perfect doctor, including me. There is no perfect um, healthcare system, but you get as close as you can when doctors are more stable, and then we get to know each other. I think I have the best healthcare outcomes when I'm talking to the oncologist. I use a handful, and I do call very often and talk about my patients with them. Heart doctors, the personal calls are two biggest killers. So I'm on the phone and talking and have a relationship with certain doctors, and that's what you want. You don't want this distant community where it's run by automated systems. I am incensed. I had a patient with a, no, I'm a general practitioner. I'm not a specialist. So I had a gentleman come in with a unusual, I think he was 77 years old. He had fallen 2, 3 weeks before uh, into some kind of a construction site, and nothing big in the fall. He got up and walked out, didn't even go to the doctor, but he started noticing a lump in the back of his calf, and it was getting painful and painful, and then it seemed to have a little bit of edema. Well, I thought it was a blood clot. The same day I saw him, I sent him to the hospital to get an ultrasound. There was no ultrasound, and then I thought, well, there he is, right in the ER. Couldn't they have a orthopedic doctor uh, come down and take a look at it, get his input? No, they sent him back to the general practitioner and said no clot. Well, oh, gee, thanks. That was so helpful. So I have him still there. I do all the things with the enzymes, the fasting, the low carb, and modest increased exercise to keep blood flow going. And I follow him up, in a few days. I did D-dimer, special inflammatory, and I did see some elevation. So I got concerned, and I tried to call an orthopedic doctor because I'm not a specialist. Do you know they wouldn't talk to me? Well, he's not our patient. Well, of course, he doesn't have the problem yet, but I don't know how to elevate this to more serious. They said, well, send him to an ER. And I said, I sent him to an ER. So do you see this anger I have today compared to the smaller community it was when doctors needed referrals if they were specialists? They needed it from the general practitioner, family doctor, internist. Now it's just like, we've got a ton of people. We don't need your call. We're full. It is ridiculous, an abuse of the use, and the users are abusing those who go for care. It is a sick in and outdoor circular system. I, as a physician of 45 years, am trying to talk with the front office desk and manager saying, I need to speak to an orthopedic doctor. I have been here for many decades referring to him. He'll give me the courteous to help me out. I don't want to be responsible for talking to you about some patient I've never seen, the orthopedist says. Give me a break. And if I said his name, you'd be aware of it. So I'm not going to say his name, but it is insulting the level of behavior of physicians. Anyway, I should tell you about some time when I was on active duty and how these physicians behave out in the field when we're doing advanced trauma life support, setting up tents, and how these physicians behave out in the field. Yeah, they don't behave like nice gentlemen, I'll tell you that. And anyway, I'm glad I know my God and knew my Bible hymns, singing Bible hymns, and kept those creeps away from me. It's a sad, evil world, ladies and gentlemen, and only the forgiveness. I've been forgiven greatly. I am the chief of sinners myself, But indeed, we have to say, unless you humble yourself in the sight of the Lord, He will lift you up. And the only way you get to a heart like that is by eating and reading His Word every day of your life, reminding you that you're not God. You're not the smartest and most beautiful, handsome thing that ever walked on the earth. You're here to serve people. The greatest creation of God is humanity. But doctors don't act like that anymore. And everyone practices almost as if they're practicing to not be sued. I pray that that never happens to me, but I'll stand trying to care for someone to the best of my ability with good intentions, trying to get help if I don't know the correct answers. And I'm not just going to dump them over and over again at an ER's door where there's some ER trained resident or recent graduate who has not the 45 years of experience I do and won't talk to me. And they set the nurse up to answer. I can't even get the ER doctor to call me. So it's a bad situation, ladies and gentlemen, to automatize medicine and to look to big government to legislate it into good behavior. It will never do that. Anyway, I'm on my high horse. I'm sorry. Let's see. All right. Harlow says, my husband is on testosterone. Okay. His blood work just came back with his testosterone as being in the normal range, about 500. But his estradiol is very high. What do you recommend? Well, one of the natural ways that testosterone is metabolized, it'll lose a hydroxyl group and become estradiol, just like God made Adam and took the rib, and then He made the woman and estradiol. So testosterone is almost identical to estradiol, except for the change of a tiny little chemical moiety on the testosterone molecule, and then it becomes estradiol. So if he drinks alcohol, that will make that happen a lot. If he drinks a high carb diet, eats a high carb starch, high vegetable, fruit, sugar, starchy diet, that will promote it. And if he doesn't exercise. So that's what needs to be done, or have him see a doctor who is familiar with it. The estradiol, the false stupid ranges say it can be normal up to 55. I tell you, his estradiol level needs to be 30 or less, because the prostate is a endocrine gland behaving like a breast gland, and estrogen will make the prostate swell. If you Google if you Google benign prostatic hypertrophy and estradiol, you'll see tons of articles of how estrogen promotes the swelling and increase in size of the prostate. And most urologist specialists don't tell them that. How many times has your oncologist or your urologist said, make sure you don't drink alcohol because alcohol raises estradiol or raises this prostate swelling impact? But don't bother me with the physiology. I'll just make all the money on the other side of cutting you up, radiating you, and treating one little tiny part of your body. Don't bother me with taking care of the whole person. Okay. Again, so have him see a good functional doctor and get him evaluated. Anastrozole is a inhibitor of estrogen metabolism conversion enzymatically. And if he just took a tiny milligram once a week, that'd help block it. So it's called anastrozole, Anastrazole. All right, Jen says, my 73-year-old stepmother has a history of heart attacks in her family. Well, almost everyone has a history of family members with heart attacks in the American family standard American diet, because it promotes inflammatory, autoimmune, hypercholesterolemia, hypertriglyceridemia, hypertension, hyperglycemia, diabetes, hyperinsulinemia. All of these things damage the lining of the heart, and the micro injuries attract plaque and irritation. But getting back to, has a family history of this. Her stepmother's blood work indicated her lipoprotein little a is over 500. All right, so there's no standard treatment for it. At least there's no drug yet that they can capitalize on this. But really, the work is absolutely easily treated by taking like 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C twice a day, and then repeat the lipoprotein little a, and it'll come down. The argument is that lipoprotein little a is an item that behaves like vitamin C. Human beings do not make vitamin C. So if you have the gene that makes the vitamin lipoprotein little a, I keep on saying vitamin, lipoprotein little a is what I'm saying. This is acting like a vitamin C. So it's microscopic vitamin C scurvy localized, and this is what they feel causes the vascular damage. Take vitamin C and watch it go down. Share that with the new cardiologist. And yeah, why don't you go and listen to Nick Norowitz, Norowitz. He's a Harvard MD and just graduated. So he has all this staff from Harvard, and their billions of money backward to do their commercials and their YouTube things. So they support Nick Norowitz putting out these informative YouTubes. Good for him. And we're happy that he's doing it. And if you put under Nick Norowitz on YouTube, and then when you see his page come up, put in lipoprotein little a, and he's done two or three videos on the science showing that lipoprotein little a dramatically is reduced with vitamin C. Now, independently, I have elevated lipoprotein little a, and I never have cardiovascular problems or markers, because independently it is not determinative. It is something that is observed. It is associated, and I think, with the lack of our human beings cannot make vitamin C. So just take 1,000 milligrams, 1 or 2 a day, at least 2 a day, I would probably say. I think the research was on 2 grams. And there's another YouTube that talks about it. What is his name? Physionics, Physionics. Physionics is the YouTube, and you'll see another young PhD biochemist who also, if you put in the search tab, put lipoprotein little a, and you'll see he's quoting very similar and same solution. Take vitamin C. It's the cause, and then help the cardiologist teach them about this, so that they won't be embarrassed because little old dumb general practitioners, internists, family practitioners get these answers long before they do. All right, so praise God. And that is what I would say for the lipoprotein little a. And I think that puts us at the end. We're within 2 minutes. I'll save my voice. Okay, so here's one more that came in. Happy New Year. God bless, and thanks so much for all you do. Well, God bless you as well, Carol. And this last one we'll end with to see if I can answer it quickly. PBC Finance says, I have a friend who is constantly cold to the bones. She sits on a heating pad freezing and sometimes won't even go out. She's been told it's due to weight loss and they can't do anything for her. Well, that doesn't sound reasonable. Usually, this is a mineral deficiency. This is energy production. And you have to have magnesium and manganese, and especially copper and molybdenum and calcium and phosphorus. And you have to have a good multi-mineral. So I would take the TLC multi-mineral for all my cold people. I would have them on a low-carb diet because that'll make a sticky, gummy, tiny microvasculature. I would do a complete workup with thyroid antibodies, free T3. I would have them start an exercise program on a regular basis, both weightlifting and aerobic. Weightlifting 3 times a week, aerobic 3 times a week, 1 day off for everything. I would have them drink half their weight in ounces in pounds as ounces of water every day. I would try and get structured water, watch Gerald Polak on the YouTube, electrically structured water, to understand the importance of this for energy production. I would get out in the sunshine in the morning, infrared light, for 20 minutes. I would ground standing on the wet grass for 2 minutes to get electrons for energy into the body every morning. I would get a home infrared. I have a sauna space. I think it's called sauna, SAUNA space. It's a tent. It actually also has a Faraday cage to it, but I have 4 infrared lights in there in the little tent, and I can get the heat up there into, like 150 degrees, sweating, microcirculation, heat shock proteins will be made. It promotes circulation. I would do a circulation promoting thing like EDTA chelation, vitamin C. I would take systemic enzymes to improve and reduce inflammation. I'd find out her blood type. She probably sounds like she's a blood type A. But anyway, get to see a good functional doctor and then go from there. And Annika says, are MD starting to address the resultant health issues from geoengineering? Yeah, it's gradually happening. To God be all the glory. We are, all of us, each one of us doctors, and all the old time doctors whose shoulders I've stood upon, we don't individually take credit. We give all the glory to God. But we have to understand everything matters. Everything you do matters. Just because you don't have an MD degree or an RN degree, your behavior, your sharing of the truth, and helping your neighbor and your family and your coworker at work and your church members with good advice. Tell them not to have donuts at church. Tell them not to do this junk food foolishness. Tell them to get rid of bad snacks at your local school or your charter schools and stuff. Everything matters. And get the soda pops out of the schools and the charter schools and the nursing homes, and each of us can help move in the right direction. I am hearing abundantly more and more doctors talking about heavy metals. Finally, poor Dr. Ray Evers, bless his soul, will be so blessed, and so many other wonderful physicians that have helped me. Dr. Julian Whitaker, Dr. Alan Sasson, Dr. Weissman. These are some core physicians in the, it was called alternative medicine, complementary medicine, integrative medicine, back in the late 1980s, early 90s, when I started formally, once I got off of active duty, after 10 years of active duty, being locked into that government system of corrupt medicine. So yeah, praise God. They are talking about heavy metal chemtrails being seeded into the sky, all the electrochemical wave heating and control of the weather. It's just really wonderful to see. We're slowly making a difference. Faith, hope, and love. God says in Philippians 4:8, he says always, whatever is good, whatever is lovely, whatever is of good report, think on these things. So I'm married 54 years. I could ring out a list of things that would upset me about my husband. I could go bang, 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 bang. But you know what? I will not think about that. I won't recite them. And rather, I force myself, if a bad thought comes in, I stop it. And then I say, yeah, but he's this wonderful this way. He's wonderful that way. God made him, and he's important. He's the son of God and his creation. You just stop the bad stuff, and you start making yourself say, whatever's lovely, whatever is beautiful, of good report, think on these things and give God all the glory. So Happy New Year, and I'll see you next week at 6 o'clock. Like and subscribe if this is of value to you, and share. Thank you. Bye-bye.